Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and a warm welcome to this week's Walking Wednesday. So you can tell by what I'm doing right now, it's not warm in the slightest. I remember that the combination of Zane hoodie plus jacket actually keeps my ears from feeling like they're going to fall off, so there is that. And I would say that this is going to be a short episode today, because I actually do have a time limit this time. Because at 2:15 we're going to be at the theatre again. Because what comes close to a night at the theatre? An afternoon at the theatre. So yeah, I forgot what we're going to see actually. But at least, I forgot to mention that we went to the theatre last week, because so much happened last week. I forgot entirely that was the same time we actually did we went to the Even pantomime. Which is not what we're going to see today, but again, we saw it last week. Yeah, it was a bit complicated actually. It turns out that a lot of my relatives have not seen a pantomime ever. So the plan was to take them all and see the pantomime. I guess not really much else to it. Then my mum relinquished her tickets, even though she organised the thing, because my cousin then said she wanted to go as well. Not that that was a requirement, there were other seats around, but because of the booking system Ivano has now, the default had changed, and so there's a little bit of an annoyance about that, which is completely understandable. Because basically, she got charged like £20 extra for programmes that honestly we didn't really need. Although they were interesting to some extent, because this is the first time... I don't know if I've talked about the Ivano pantomime before, but it has a lot of traditions to it, as pantomimes do. I'm not sure if it's been running for 60 years, but I think the theatre itself, even on itself, has been running for over 60 years. Because I remember at one point there was a celebration about that. During one of their Cinderella performances. Yes, I say one of their Cinderellas, because I've now seen 3 different versions of Cinderella done by the exact same group. Actually, no, not the exact same group, because again, some of the regulars that were there no longer were. They were down 2 of the most recognisable reoccurring performers. So the way that they would do that is usually they have the celebrity guest. So we had like Josie Lawrence one year. This year it was it Lucy Benedict, I think? Benjamin. There we go. That was it. Yeah. From of EastEnders fame, presumably, because Colonel's saying "Get out me pub" constantly. So I'm assuming that that's who it is. Then they have Peter Gordon, who has been a radio DJ over here for what feels like 60 years. It's not actually. But yeah, he is usually the pantomime dame, and then whether it is Cinderella, the other dame, of course, was someone called Kit Hesketh Harvey, who a lot of the times also played some of the villains. So that's why I guess he doubled up in those instances. And then there was Jamie Brooke, who was always the comedic relief character. You know, your typical. Your Buttons character, your I forgot whatever the other ones were actually called, like Muddles or something like that. And yeah, he was always the soul of the show. And so I'm very surprised that he was not there. I'm not sure if he just got tired of doing it every year, or if he got like a different gig somewhere. Same with Kit Hesketh Harvey. Because again, those villains are very memorable. One of the things that Kid would always do would be eventually at the end they always have like a big like their characters always have a rhyme and such. But Kid's one was always improvised, which, you know me, I appreciate that immensely. But yeah, we all showed up there because we knew that if nothing else, we were gonna at least have to use our coats. Because we got front row seats, so we were in the splash zone, so to speak, or I guess the spray you with water zone, more accurately. yeah, I was telling people all about like how the other Pantos would have operated, the presumed differences, and I thought, well, they've done Cinderella twice already, at least from what I remember. They're going to keep rotating these. It's not gonna be as fun this time, especially without like the main cast. I thought it was gonna be like a Blues Brothers 2000 situation, where you only have half of what made the original work to begin with, and you're left with very little else, trying to do the exact same thing. But oh, was I wrong. I can't remember the names of the people they got this time, but particularly one who was the other stepsister, who apparently also co-founded the Guildford Shakespeare Company. Yeah, that gave it his all in something that clearly he was unaccustomed to. Because that was part of the joke. It's like, I can't do this scene, I'm a trained actor and blah blah blah. Obviously not. That's not really what he thought, but yeah. I mean, the guy who played Buttons this year, I'm not sure if he's found his groove entirely yet. He was definitely funny, but I think I'm just so used to Jamie Brooks' presence that it's good. It takes an adjustment period. For reference to people who are watching this that watch my gacha videos, it's kind of like when one of the voice actors gets replaced, and you have to go through that rigmarole, and people are like, "Wow, this doesn't feel the same anymore." And then, depending on the situation, they'll think, "Oh, you know, this is either for the best or for the worst, or I don't know." But yeah, I guess but I think that was probably, I don't know if I'm just not remembering the other Cinderellas as clearly, but that one was definitely up there. Now, this was one of my favourite pantomimes that they've actually done. Maybe because they had to make it all so new. And yeah, the entire family who were there, they absolutely adored it. They're thinking to themselves, how have I never seen any of these before? Well, my cousin had seen other pantomimes before, but still, she was also euphoric, so honestly, yeah. That's probably all I was going to go into like more details, but if I go plot by plot, I'm not going to make it back in time for the actual thing we're going to see. Because currently I'm walking away from the theatre, so I need to make sure we get back. There was a bit of a joke that I was going to end up walking from the town to Guildford, and then I was just going to go by the river and make it there. Because I said, oh yeah, we're going to meet you by the Venano, and they're like, well, what do you mean by that? Am I starting now and I'm going to head my way over there? Because I could technically, in theory, do that. I think I'm on the same river as now anyway. Just going the opposite direction. I'm heading back home. Not that it particularly matters. I think I just about made. I think the walking distance. Actually, no. You know, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that because then I'll get tracked. Anyway, so yeah, I won't bore you to death with that. So especially because also it didn't really happen this week. This week, what essentially happened was a lot of voice acting stuff, both on my end and both giving and receiving is what I meant to say. Because yeah, this is the time Aiden has become once again enthralled with the idea of doing a Spanish dub of a bunch of things, which is an idea that he had before, and mostly one that piques my curiosity. The problem is that because Aiden doesn't speak Spanish, he relies on me for a lot of the stuff in order to be done properly and accurately. Then again, I am the person who constantly talks about the beauty of Spanish dubs and what they actually are able to achieve and all that stuff. So, yeah, I guess I kind of wrote myself into a corner in that regard, just in real life. But yeah, that's been a thing. So I've re-recorded some lines for things like People Above, just in Spanish, and then also an announcement which I think you'll be seeing soon on his channel if he remembers to edit the audio that I sent. He also promised that he was going to do the sticking for the audio, which for all of these different dubs, which I say like matching it up to where the original English would have been. I do question how that's going to work, because I mean it's not like he can't identify tones of voices. He absolutely can, and obviously a lot of our performances are larger than life. Although we have to get an entirely new cast, because that was the whole reason we didn't do Spanish dubs years ago, is because we didn't have enough Spanish-speaking actors. That's why we're looking for them now. But yeah, I don't quite know. Oh, I was gonna go. Should I go this way? Yeah, bit of a variation. Might be cars, but I'll see. You gotta go on adventures on Walking Wednesday. But yeah, we've at least got like a game plan this time, and we had a little bit of downtime in between the VAs sending stuff for both English people above and English Mutant Girl, because of course it's January, so I started calling in the voice actors for the next remake, and a lot of them have most of them have already sent their stuff in, actually. Admittedly, because episode 6 is easy on the voice department, we should be fine in that regard. The original episode 6 of Music Girl was one that I was really committed to in some way, because that was when I started properly upping my game. I've been watching Midori stories at that point, and the updates that I haven't actually managed to address, like the Not Your Average Girl stock footage that was sourced for that series. I mean, and just also like moving backgrounds and playing around, because I think because the episode was kept so simple story-wise, it was just Morwenna and Sebastian trying to reconnect as siblings in a place that they had visited many times before, and that was it. But because of that, it gave me the opportunity to try new things. Some of them didn't work, like wave transitions and other things. But yeah, I like the fact the episode is carried mostly just by them. It's sort of like the Family Guy situation with like the Brian and Stewie episode, where it is just Brian and Stewie, except for my one does actually have more people, because it sets up more plots in episode 7 and such. But yeah, I remember being extremely proud at the time, and really thinking that this was a sign of the improvement that was to come with the Mutant Girl. Because looking back now, a lot of it is very simple. I chose 2 backgrounds that happen to be that happen to look similar to each other, and then it happened to be the day and night version of each of them. So I had them resting there, which I just do now with way more accurate precision. It all seems like so rudimentary now, and it looks like very simple still, even despite the time period and everything. But yeah, I just it was quite something. It's always amazing to think that you get to a certain point when you're editing visuals and such, and then you think, well, this is like one part, like the apex of what I could achieve, and then fast forward several years later, and you're like, oh, okay, I can actually do it like this. I'm so much better now, because I continue to evolve. I might be going into private property in a second. Let me just check the signs, if there are any. Oh, no, it's the same area as before. Never mind. I'm just checking, because I wandered into this area, and I thought, oh no, that's not good. I wonder if this might be where the the GSA students actually are, or I don't know, someone else. Not really entirely sure. Looks like it from what I'm seeing here. But yeah, I guess it's going to be interesting because now given how the episode's like that simple, I'm thinking like, wow, this is going to be much more of a relaxed process than the double bills that I've had for the past 2 years that were the bane of my existence for 2 entire months. Because yes, it's 2 months until the Mutant Girl 5th anniversary. 5 years later. So yeah, I'm very much thinking, yeah, I can't be complacent about it, because obviously episode 6, the history behind that, it's got to be top notch, absolutely. Probably will pull out some new editing techniques as well for it, but again, I also can't stress about it because there's so many other things that I need to do, so many things that I want to do to set myself up for, not just work-wise but also creative-wise. Combination of both, including the Spanish dub studio. If we do it properly, we can actually market it in such a way that we're primed for a great performance on YouTube. I mentioned this earlier, but one of my biggest regrets when it comes to the Mutant Girl is the fact that I didn't give it its own gacha channel. I didn't know the power of like the pure gacha channel at that point. Admittedly, the most popular gacha YouTuber of all time, they just got MSP, at least at the time, started off with MSP, Movie Star Planet. So that might not be an exact correlation. I didn't know that at the time. I just thought, hey, I've got 300 subscribers. Let me guess the figure. I guess that must mean I have a bigger threshold for what I can achieve. And admittedly, ever since I've gone from 300 subscribers to 1,300 from mostly from gacha content. But yeah, pivoting the channel in that direction has not been has been a slow process, and having a pure gacha channel is something I've attempted multiple times, but never in a way that would be efficient, whilst also maintaining the main channel, which is now one of my sources of income. So yeah. That was that's definitely an idea. Oh, backside student living. Yeah, definitely. I just realized where I am. There we go. Anywho, I guess I could have also started up for a number of other things, but because of the Butterverse now, I said that the scripted stuff that is in the Butterverse is all going to go on the main Jacob Butter channel, which is also why the people above, for example, or none of the others, have gotten their own channels. Alpwatch Academy did at one point, but that was because I couldn't maintain the channel or the show, so that also fell by the wayside. But yeah, with the Spanish dub channel, I'm thinking, yeah, I can at the very least co-manage that with Aiden. So even though the idea stresses me out, and I, keep insisting that I don't need to be on call with him while I'm translating, because he can't really contribute to that too much. So like he just becomes like the micromanager of the project. But I still appreciate the idea immensely. On a bridge now. Adventures. I'm also, of course, the other thing to do with voice acting was the fact that English people above this week actually had auditions, and it does strike me as interesting that again we went through so many we didn't go through so many auditions this time, because I think essentially the first person to audition, Mega Nuts, probably set the standard for everyone going forward. I think some people might have been, can't confirm this, but they might have been intimidated by the sheer quality of it, or deciding like, you know, this is the best person. Which, by the way, we had not decided that yet. I was trying to make an effort to not comment on any of the auditions, except for one of them that had Coco Melon and a baby crying in the background. I was thinking, could you not record this at any other time of day? Just it was that person's nephew visiting, so clearly there were other options. But I guess because that was nearing the deadline. But yeah, it was only after Emily auditioned for Fillion and got the part, ironically, but we didn't know that at the time. But only after the audition came in that suddenly everyone else was like, oh, okay, we'll go for Fillion. And we didn't go for Michaela, only one other person did. If someone sets the precedent that you think we're looking for in auditions, that might not necessarily be the case. Because we haven't written that much for Fillion particularly, we have for Michaela. But yes, we had like a voice in mind, but we can be pleasantly surprised. We don't always have to go with what we're imagining in the moment, or I'm not going to tell you what we're imagining in the moment, so you don't particularly know, which I guess maybe is a little bit unfair, because people then... No, some people will use like voice claims and such to be more accurate to the characters. I'm not sure if I like doing that, just because it then limits the other options people can come up with. But maybe people would prefer if there were, I say voice claims, more like voice demonstrations, like examples of what the characters would sound like based on like other performances the voice actors have done. I'm not sure actually, because on one hand you think, yeah, this gives you more of an idea, so I can see if I'm more fitted for this part than somebody else who's already gone. But then also you think, oh well, that limits the surprise. If I'd done voice claims before, there would be no Mrs. Dysart, that's for sure. Or no Mrs. Dysart in the way that we think now. Okay, I gotta go now. Got one file, so I think that's enough content. In future, we'll be doing more audition casting calls soon. Be sure to go for ones if you can speak Spanish for the next one, or if you can speak English for the others. But please, if you like or dislike joking, I just got this already. And on that note, until next time, farewell.